Okay, so now I'm going to share with you the Billboard dream. And this one was very interesting in that it has very deep impressions that it's left on me. But this is another one where it was like I was being shown something um, different than a regular dream. It was like as if I was here to see this or whatever. I don't know, but okay. So the dream starts where I was in like dingy city slums, right? And there was residential brick buildings all around me. And I'm looking across the way, and there's this brick building. It's dirty and it's kind of it's like dingy city slums. And there's this brick building, and there's a guy standing there on the in front of it. And anyway, this guy, he's got like this big sack of tools. And this guy, like, he reminded me of Santa Claus or something. Uh, but he has this big sack of tools, and he sets his tools down, and he looks up over the wall, and I see his eyes. He's scanning the wall, just scanning, and then like he saw something, and his eyes were like really intent, focused on it for a couple seconds, and then he reaches down and gets his tool bag, and he starts climbing up the wall like Spider-Man. Like this guy was like superhuman. Like he just climbs up the wall like Spider-Man. And at this point, like I'm like, okay, what is it that he's looking at? And I look up on the wall and I realize that it's a billboard. It was a billboard on this wall, but it was cracked and it was dirty and it was like half rotted away. And and so it dawned on me what this guy was doing. His job was to smooth the billboard. And uh, so he climbs up there and he gets a tool out of his bag. And he just climbs up the face of the billboard like it's nothing, like he's Spider-Man. And he pops out a little nail. And I was like, what? How could he see that nail from all the way down the street? Like this guy had like eagle vision. Like I mean, he had the keenest eyes to be able to see that nail from all the way down the street. And I woke up from this dream and I had the full understanding of it. And I can't even explain to you how I knew, but I just knew what it all meant. The billboard is you or me. And that guy with the superhuman like abilities represented the Holy Spirit. And his job is to smooth the billboard, is to smooth us, our imperfections, so that he can lay out Jesus' picture. But even the smallest little nail would rip a hole in the picture. And I wrote a poem about it too. I'm gonna put that on here too. Um, but ever since that dream, like I've been searching for a deeper understanding as to who was Jesus. Wait a minute, you know, this billboard is for thousands of people to see. Uh, but Jesus was a bum. They called him a winebibber and a glutton. He was homeless. He wasn't even in the church. He was like outside the church. Yeah, he'd go to the church. He'd go to the synagogue and he'd read out of Isaiah and he'd say, "This day is this prophecy fulfilled in your hearing." But he was outside the church, stirring up the people to see the leaders for who they really were, fake. Who was Jesus? Really? If a homeless winebibber and a glutton came to your house, church folk, if a homeless winebibber and a glutton came to your house, would you let him in? That's a question. But in order for us to be like Jesus, we have to go everywhere that he went.